Okay, and welcome back. We're picking up where we left off last time in Field Glory Empires. This is the beginning of a new stream, um, continuing the run. We are still at war with the Egyptians. I'm a little worried about how the fight with the Egyptians will go, because the Egyptians have they have two armies here. The army quality on the Egyptians is not super great. So, the example here is we've got 28 guys facing off against 44 here. And apparently that's about parity. Um, on the other hand, the frontage here is quite large, so I question whether or not we have enough people. And granted, we have 28 people for a frontage of 14, so we actually fill the full frontage there. But that would be really the concern with fighting the Egyptians here. We do have our cavalry running amok in the unfortified portions of Egypt. While we're moving to take the delta over. I think the troop movements we've got is fine. Let's go through, check to see if we've done all the provinces. We may not have, because it was the end of a stream. Or though we may have, in which case we'll just go ahead and end the turn here. It is looking like they're all buildings assigned to them, so we're probably just going to do a turn roll here. Yep. Unless there's a loose one somewhere that we haven't got idle. Nope. So, let's cycle the turn. We'll see how the Egyptians are responding to our circumstances here. Don't really got any regionals I want to use right now. And the nationwide decisions. I think most of the ones we probably want to interact with, we probably did already, right? So we've done slave market. We've probably done not so precious iron, yeah. I'm not too worried about gathering mercenaries in the local allies, or the tax law one. So let's cycle the turn, see how things go. Okay, so we're defending here. Not against a full army, against the... Oh, that's interesting. I must have set a attack order in. Okay, looks like this is something we have a decent chance of winning at. Nope, ended in a draw, we lost one of the guys. It's gonna pull them full into the front line at this point. Here we go. Oh, interesting that the... Oh, because after the hit they lost their shield. Okay, so that makes sense. Okay, Aspirants special garrison the cavalry. I'm just going to skip that fight because that's something that should be easy. They've retaken that area. Okay. We're going to mutually beneficial transaction treaty with these guys. There's a 23% chance they accept alliance. To make them become my client state. Just a lot of money at this point. Okay. Would probably do it. And I do want these guys to become client state so I can buy them up again. Get that province back. Sure. Or half the treasury at them to make them subject state. Let's try to take that province back. That province is semi-valuable. And let our army again continue to recover here in the plains after the storm they just did. We're laying siege down here in the marsh, which actually, because this is the marsh, is maybe not a good place for us to stay. Our main combat army here is not good in the swamps, after all. That's a sufficiently small enough garrison. We can probably just take it by storm. Storm the place and move on. Yeah, okay. And then try to get out of the swamps. Okay. Diplomacy-wise, against Egypt, we're looking for a pretty high demand. So I'm still going to suspect they're not going to be on board giving us stuff. Well, they're on board with giving us stuff. They're not on board with giving me what I want, which is, I want like that. Right. They're getting pretty close. Minus 43, and there's a bunch of land we want to take, but not there yet. Not there yet at all. So with that, let's go through our provinces, quickly checking places. Here, up on the border, we got one open slot. Could go the Wheelmaker to get access to Tier 2 infrastructure buildings. That wouldn't be a bad idea. On the other hand, I'm going to go the Quant, because it's the 0 slot. And this being the capital region, we should build it pretty quickly. I do probably want to get access to Tier 3 commerce buildings. So, crafting districts is not a terrible idea. Yeah. It's also 0 slot, so we can fill in all the buildings on next turn. Okay, nothing to build here, so we're going to move these guys over to food making. So we can get people growing in the region faster. Although we're apparently already guaranteed in one location to get one person next turn. Noble District being built. A couple building slots there to build in. I don't need to go quite so hard on industry here. I think go in the Anchorage for more money. It's also a 0 slot, so it's basically just a reroll. The bandits were looking for the armor. Could do the walls. That wouldn't be a super terrible way to do this. Actually, yeah, we'll do the walls. This is far enough off in the streams that we probably do want the place to sort of be able to self-defend itself. Slot build slot. Could go stables. This may be a region where we recruit provincial cavalry in the future as well. Yeah. So stables doesn't seem a completely bad choice. Spinning mill cotton. We're not getting bonus from wool. And the fact we don't actually fit cotton to import makes this a bad choice. We will do courthouse though. Yeah, I'm going to pick up the furnace here. That'll give us access to Tier 3 commerce buildings, which are pretty good, including the upgrade to the regional roads. We got an upgrade here, large warehouse, which costs us money, but it's so much more construction. And it's effectively a 0 slot, because it's an upgrade of a building that already costs a slot. So it's an additional slot, usually 0. And of course, that's an expensive building, so we're going to put a bunch of infrastructure into it. 3 turns to build. Okay. A 1 and a 2. Land expansion. And... oh, that's got a couple options. Could do the caravan house, like just the Tier 3 commerce. Might go that way. Eventually we're going to want to get up to Tier 2 infrastructure so we can get the regional road, but we'll do caravan house for that. This is a good reroll for what we're looking for right now. Also helps with the military expertise ratio. It's been a while. I don't think we've actually looked at the military expertise ratio the entire run here. Well, for not quite a while, so like we've taken a look at it once we're done with buildings. That's a decent market. 22 money. Tempting to equip the armor. You're counted as a military building. There's a chance you despawn at some point. Yeah. Armor here wouldn't be too bad. This is also the place where we recruit... No, that's the one, next one up. So I go, this is the place where we recruit the cavalry enhancers. No. That's the place I can import leather from, so that's not too bad. We can move leather around that way. Nothing there. Building slot and spare workers. Yeah, we'll do the orchard. It's a decent orchard. And then you actually have enough people to finish those buildings, so we're not going to move the people off of food. We're out of trade range from the marble, and we don't need the loyalty. That would be fine, but we're not going to do that. Might do the archery here. This gives access to tier 2. This is a place where we recruit a skirmishing cavalry. Is this a light cavalry? No, this is a medium cavalry. It's a skirmishing medium cavalry, which is particularly good, but it means it doesn't, I think, get affected by the archery here. Don't want the clay pit. I think we're just going to reroll in that specific situation. Wall upgrade. I think we'll go brickworks here. Okay, we've got the herbalist to get rid of you, so it's just a matter of time. Could go Oration Tribune. Not too desperate for that. That's not a particularly good market. At some point we'll probably get the low in the cloth and that'll be decent, but Smokehouse in the meantime. And we could do with things building up faster, so we'll move the person to food, or from food infrastructure. It's not making a difference, really. I see a road, although it is very tempting. Noble Gardens is 42 culture here. Very tempting to take Noble Gardens, but we're going to pass on that and grab the road. The road is the prerequisite for a bunch of buildings, so we're going to want it at some point. Ranch, Flaxfield, Hempfield. What type of terrain is this? This is plains, so this is a place where we should be able to upgrade the farm. Might as well build the stud. Might as well build the stud. So we can get more food, because that area needs more food. That area needs more food, but we're not got anything to select there. This area needs less infrastructure. $37 more. Here we go. One open slot there. What do we have left infrastructure to grab? Large warehouse, and if the Great Engineering School comes up, the Great Engineering School. Okay. We'll grab the training ground here. Nothing to build there, so infrastructure to food. Lots of building slots here. You've already got your regional roads here. So don't really need the infrastructure. Don't really need the foodstuffs. Reserve foodstuffs. Brickworks. Are we recruiting archers here? Could we recruit decent archers here? What's the provincial? Provincial is infantry. Okay, so no. We're outside of the frankincense range. Yeah, so it's like furnace and nothing. We'll go furnace. Hunter's Lodge. This is the same province where we just checked, so it's not the one we want that for. On board solid walls. Upgrading the walls is not bad, especially on that gold deposit. Convert people faster. Inland converting people faster, I think is the way to go. land expansion. Okay, we've got just about the right amount of infrastructure there. So next down, 1, a 3, and a 1. We gotta build a bridge there. Well, I always forget to check certain things like what do I need for the bridge. I suspect it's probably something we need the builder's hole or something. So we'll take the builder's hole. I thought it's just a rare pick or something. Oh, lots of decent choices here. Got the courthouse, we got the clear water, farm wouldn't be bad here. Because it's an upgrade, I'm gonna go courthouse. We don't yet have papyrus in this area, so we're gonna go sawmill. And of course the place, oh, actually that was the one. So we're fishing for the irrigation canals here. So maybe building the temple here is not the grandest of plans, although the temple shouldn't take up a slot, so that's fine. Yeah, we're looking for the irrigation canal there. Let's see if the irrigation canal will probably want the granary. The farm should be up, or actually no, we should get the farm upgrade on one of the neighboring places to get some grain in for the granary. This will make a decent food tile. For the moment, it's building a temple. Ooh, 5 slots. Line expansion. So we're gonna make 5 slots, 6 slots. Could use more loyalty here. I'm not seeing any good options for loyalty. Fair's not too bad. Give us access to next commercial building. Or next commercial tier. I think I'm gonna delay on that. We're gonna grab Fortune Teller. It's not a good loyalty building. It's not a very good money building, even with the drugs and herbs that apparently we have in the region. But this will give us access to tier 3 culture, and the tier 3 culture buildings are loyalty buildings are real good. Okay. 3, 4, and 3, so a lot. Again, the newer territories probably have lots of stuff to build. Can we stabilize you? Yeah. Regional road's not bad. We're looking weapons depot there to clear you, and is the weapons depot. Grab that. Move the food to industry, although that's not helping a lot. And we did unity there for stability. Okay. That's fine. Open building slot in the desert. Doesn't surprise me. What's the analysis on Oasis? Food infrastructure. Okay, so at this point we want to build like military money or culture. That's a decent trading tent with 16 money. We're gonna go weapons depot for the equipment stockpile. What troops do we train here, specialty-wise? Light troops of all types. Okay. Yeah, I'll go to the trading tent and we'll start working with the commerce line. Four there. This is the one where we want to get Judea back. Build the regional road. Okay, that's fine. Or at least as far as it's going to be. 1 and a 3. The 1's really easily. That's a decent orchard, and we do have nuts and dates in the area we can try to knead over with a delicacy shop. I think the plantation's a tier 3? Although that's not the building we want to do. We probably want to do Wells, Granary, Mill, Orchards. There's 4 different food buildings we're looking for, yeah. Let's get the ranch there. No, we're not going to go that high in health. Would be a decent armor, but we don't need it. Yeah, it's a decent trading tent. Sure. Oh, and the place is stabilized a bit, so we can take a bunch of these guys off. Yeah. Yeah, we can take all off, that's good. I'm probably overbuilding. Trading tent's not that expensive, is it? Oh, yeah, definitely not that expensive. The orchard's pretty cheap too. Okay, so we need to save like 80 infrastructure in the entire province. Everything else can get swapped to food production. Yeah, and amount. That's fine. Okay, and then we're looking for idols, which are probably few and far between. They were. Any interesting regionals? None of those are interesting. Okay, let's cycle the turn. Okay, here's the assault. V4, so even with a decent garrison general, it's not going to save the garrison. Okay, our cavalry dodged the Egyptian main army. Is good. Our cavalry might not be doing the best. That's a different problem. Yep, we lost one of the cavalry guys. That doesn't surprise me. We're still in the progressing tier. Again, you can see why we want to take Legacy off of Egypt. I believe we're technically gaining on Egypt, but you've been proclaimed the new ruler. Very good administrator. Okay, so that's why we jumped to 1. With the administrative burden reduction, bonus loyalty, bonus decadence reduction. Ooh, terrible leader. Okay, terrible military leader. So our army's going to trend towards being ruled by terrible generals. Honored their former ruler by erecting increased a royal tomb to house his remains. Cost us like 80,000 gold. That's fine. Control is power. As the empire grows, it's more and more difficult to maintain a tight control in all our cities. A fast way to send messages will be needed if we want to keep the position among our nations. The councils warn you as soon as the king's decided. So this is like the King's Road quest line. About to start here. We got an art of the siege. Not that we have any place we're sieging at the moment. How far can we get you to move? Yeah, let's have you do that dash down to Nubia, inferior. That'll take you away from the main enemy army. How far can we get you? Like 1 time. Okay. Oh, there's no fortifications up there. Okay. Yeah, let's move you there. Let's move... I'm actually going to go so far as I suspect the fortification garrison is just not the thing that's going to stop the army, so we'll tell them to immediately storm the place. I'm not going to actually tell to storm, rather I'm just going to have you sit outside. Because I'm a little bit worried that this is going to about face and come back. And then we go through the provinces. We're not too worried about converting here. We are looking for the armor, which we haven't hit. Grab the guard tower for the moment. Grab land expansion, although decent coin maker, but no, land expansion. We don't need to papyrus this in this area. We can get it from the Mesopotamia Delta. So, well, no, we're not making enough food that anymore. So it's definitely a blacksmith in this situation. Out of those choices. Not that we need the upgrade for going to tools, but okay, open slot there. This is one of the places where I think we're still looking for the Builders Guild. We can hit the Builders Guild, right? Yeah. So I should probably reroll until we hit the Builders Guild. or some other 0 slot. So we're not waiting for another slot to come up to get rid of a malice. Not in range for the frankincense. Is that the best farm we're gonna get there? Yeah, that looks like that's the best farm we're gonna get there. Might, because that's the best farm we're gonna get there, I'm gonna put that farm in. Although we don't really need... We'll do a reroll. Don't need the food right now. Oh, and I'm probably better off with the saltworks or whatever. It's not a great market. We don't want the ranch there. Could do the builder's hall. Not too desperate. I think we'll do the Tribune, try to get up the culture lane a little bit faster. This is one of the places where we do want to do food, although dealing with the bandits, which is the armor, comes priority. Did do the monument here. Get the culture, just to basically get a reroll. Productive reroll. Decent weaver shop. 2 and a 1. Yeah, that's not too bad. We're gonna pass on that just because we don't need the money right now. To this old house. Needs purple, which would be trading required, which is why things not profitable. On the other hand, it would provide dye. Can already be brought in from Kosei. What's the import requirements on Kosei? Or on dye? I know, that's purple, for example, so... Purple, we can only move around using the dyeing mill, basically. I've made dye somewhere. There's the dye. Oh, and there's basically no place that needs dye. So if I want dye there, I just have to make dye there. And except it's not particularly profitable. That's fair enough. But yeah, so basically this turns into a question of, do you want to spend 3 money to make 34 per turn? And the answer probably is yes. Could do the forge here. I think I'm going to do the wheelmaker so we can get the regional road later on. We're in papyrus range? We are. Sure, I'll take the crafting district. Grab the smokehouse. Could grab the temple, although we're coastal here in a place where we have coral, so I should probably do the Thassalon temple. Should do the other one because we don't need the conversion rate. Slavers is weapons depot or watchtower. We haven't hit weapon. Oh no, we already have weapons depot. We could just do the walls here. Let's fortify it up a bit. Okay. That slowed down you. Only need like 14 more construction. That should do it. Yeah, to get the bolt done in a turn. 2 open slots. Both in this location. Mountain Hill. Okay, so you're probably one of the better food locations. So it wouldn't necessarily be a bad idea to see storage there. Although we're unlikely to get grain in for the bonus. Major Harbor also wouldn't be a bad idea. We're not desperate for metal. Yeah, we'll do the harbor upgrade. Nope, it's not there. Tin mine. Nah. Wool. This is a situation where we could do that, but we've already got the cloth in the area. There's ways to move cloth around. We'll pass on that at the moment. Don't really need the mercenaries. Although we're probably in the point where we could afford to run missionaries, but we're also mercenaries. We're also in the point where we could just afford not to. So lots of yes, no, not really matters going on there. We'll just the shuffle there. Next. Could do the bronze works. That gives us access to tier 2 commerce. I'm going to pass that. We're going to go pick up the farm's tempting. I'm going to pick the smokehouse for the food and health bonus. Large farm. 9 more food. Provides grain. Grain, I think, is one of the ones we can't import again. There's nothing that needs it. Plus, it helps the food situation, which is one of the things that province is struggling with. Oh, I'm not passing up the opportunity. The opportunity to get my first academy. So there's a bunch of decisions that I would really like to pick a choice on that I wasn't allowed to because I didn't have one of these. It'll take 11 turns, but when we have it, it will be worth it. 5 and a 1. Yeah, it makes sense to do some cult worship over here to get the guys converted. Yeah, that's a no. Nice reroll it. And we now have food positive. Oh, we were food positive there before. That's fine. And next one, 3 build slots here across 3 different provinces. Well, 1 in each, but three provinces. Could do the builder's hall. Don't really need it. Per se. Same thing as with the armor. What's the unit recruit here? A cav. Definitely don't need it. It's like cav. Could grab you. We don't really need the worship place. But picking this up would get us access to the tier 3 culture buildings. This would be better if we had access to the myrrh frankincense. We might be within trade range for importing one of those, so build the worship place anyway. In hopes maybe if we are in range, we can pull the other stuff in. Wheelmaker. Wheelmaker, so we can pick up the line expansion next. Decent orchard. I think this was one of the ones that made me think that we need the building hole to build the bridge, because we could build the bridge here. Yeah, let's pick up the orchard here. Those will finish the turn, so I don't need to move people over for food. In fact, I could probably move people back to food. You need 40. You've got more than that. You're 40 as well. Got more than that by a lot. You're actually the biggest one. So I can actually spare 60 infrastructure. Here we go. More food to get those regions growing a little faster. One open slot there on the island. It is a good trade center. A bit weird that we've got like 2 commerce buildings and 1 commerce mine, and it's like, yep, random tier 3 commerce building. Where that's coming from, no clue. We just got one. We can import oil. It's not good enough. We can do the wheelmaker. Is this region food positive? Of course, when no one's working infrastructure, it's food positive. That makes sense. I think there's more indications that it's maybe infrastructure weak, but it's around the wheelmaker. Finish the wheelmaker in a turn. Can do the copper works, then bring copper in. Sure. Monument. Because we have people on food production right now, the irrigation system is positive. Could lean on the warehouse, which that's showing you how good the warehouse is that it's pretty positive. Even without people working. So warehouse is going to be done, monument's going to be done. I might need that level of infrastructure to get the warehouse done. I would if we didn't have a stockpile, but we'll just roll like that. It'll be fine. Don't need to super min-max everything. I'm probably min-max more than you need to. This is one of the places where it would make sense to maybe do, because we can get the farm upgrade here. Go up the canal layers. Sure. Grab the irrigation system here. It's not, as is frequently the case with it, it's not food positive unless you put people on food. And there's irrigation canals, which will put papyrus in the region and allow us to start having papyrus for local needs. Mine upgrade, which would be fine because we got, or quarry upgrade, which would be fine because we have marble. I think the salt house is probably still stronger for what we want. Thoughts? Yep. Get the preceptor house line going. Or there in Babylonia. Yeah, probably the road upgrade. As tempting as the dates. Hopefully. Can we even get this region positive enough that it can build stuff? I think the answer is no. City walls. That's a decent orchard. Take the orchard. And everything's building in a turn, so next. Nothing to do there. Any idols? No. I don't think there was any good regionals. Yeah. Well, Art of the Siege might be good if you're sieging something. Okay, looks like we're going to have a land battle in the Egyptian capital. Okay, so we're just going to skip this because it's a small battle. Cavalry should be able to handle themselves there. This is us storming the fort. Sending in the immortals. Archers do their due diligence. Making this a quick storm. Oh, my terrible general is probably going to be the doom of this army here. We'll see how the RNG works out. Yeah. Yeah. That guy's about to die. Yep. That guy might not die. Oh, it rolled well enough. Okay, this is going to be a bloodbath. Anyway, this army's going to have to pull back and regenerate. If it can escape. I don't think it's escaping. Yeah, so basically none of it's going to escape. It's basically going to be a brand new army when this army gets regenerated. That's fine. We're still in the progressing tier, we're still a young empire. Reduced tokens from normal sources is actually quite strong, both positively and negatively. We signed the trade agreement, so they're now our subject. Oh, I don't have this building yet. In theory, we got 12 turns. We should actually finish that building in 12 turns. So we'll just remember the moment it's done. So here's the thing. The solution to our nobles and cities is a long road with way stations at regular intervals, so that the messenger can change horses and deliver our royal yet sagacious word in the fastest way possible. Have at least a road in 6 of these 8 regions. Persia, Suzinia, Babylonia. So Perseus, not Persia. Perseus, Babylonia, Meltia, Galatia, Lydia. So, have a road in there. Babylonia? Oh, the regions, not provinces. So, Perseus. In Perseus. Babylonia. In Mesopotamia Inferior. Suzia? I assume that's a reasonably important city somewhere in our country. Yeah, I don't know if there's a good way to track this. If I click here, the list is going to disappear, isn't it? No. So Lycia, have a road. Don't know if the public works counts as a road. Although it said Lycia, not Lydia, or it said Lydia. So road, regional road probably counts as a road. It'd probably even count more if it's a paved road. Perseus, I think we have a regional road. Yeah. We haven't paved it yet, but that's that one, so that's the 2 extremes. Babylonia. We got a public works. We're about to turn into regional road, so that'll probably count. So we'll say 3. Okay, so the region capital of them. Okay, regional road there. Don't have all the provinces' names memorized in the area. Yeah, I don't think that's going to be too hard to do. Road there. Okay, so that one's going to be one of the harder ones. Yeah, that's going to be harder than ones if it's not a public works. If it's got to be a full regional road, that'll be a little bit harder. We're allowed to minutes 2 in 30, so maybe that's the one of the ones we're missing. Miltonini. Okay, we've got a regional, so what that's like. Yes, yes. Lydia, Meltonini. Okay. Yeah, I think that's doable. We'll view now because we can. Yeah, it's not an easy way to track in there. That's fine. This army survived. I was about to say survived only 2 guys. Survived mostly with Iranian slingers, so it didn't even survive with the specialist archers. Okay. You have a bunch of forces gathering up that I haven't been waiting for. Probably. Okay, so you can get there in a turn. Can you get there in a turn? Yes. Can you get there in a turn? No, it's going to take you a turn. Pretty sure that's all supposed to merge up in my grand proverbial battle plan. Yeah, let's move you up to there. This army's going to need to be have totally rehauled at this point. Not that it's necessarily a severe issue for it, but... And the cavalry army will still go run amok in the South Egypt. Okay, and then... What? We've got a frontage of 14. So... We're gonna like 10 frontliners. I can probably splurge and get a pretty expensive army at this point. Although, we're not going to be able to afford immortal money. That's too expensive. We can run the cheaper close fighters for the front line on the second stack. Get 5 of them done in one turn here. I can train close fighters here as well. We got like 3 Assyrian cavalry missing, so this is a reasonable place for recruiting some like cavalry, so 3 of you. Grab the Midian. Light cavalry. And we'll grab a cross fighter. That brings us up to 6 frontliners. Well, with the horses, technically it's 10, but we want 14, so we need 4 more heavy infantry. Okay, it looks like there's no convenient place where I can get all 4 of them in one location. Yeah. So that's all the frontliners, and then we need a backline set. Another... Well, we've got 5 slingers, so at least 5 archers. Could probably go up to 10 archers and be fine. Do we have cheaper archers? You'd be cheaper, although we couldn't necessarily build. Although 5 archers from one location is not too bad. These are distant archers, and we could... actually, we could have built more. Close fighters here, but no, we'll grab archers here instead. Okay, then we gotta just merge all those guys together. And remember to merge all those guys together, was because that's kind of the problem I had last time. Okay, that's how the army move, the navy will move. It's looking good for the army. Spent most of the money, shouldn't be a problem. Grab a wheelmaker. Although, well, we got 2 open slots, so the wheelmaker makes sense. I was about to say maybe we want to do a reroll there, but no. Yeah, the irrigation system only makes sense if we're actually producing more food. We're not yet. We don't need the papyrus here. Don't have drugs and herbs. There's other ways to get charcoal down here. We are in gold range. And that's some serious money. Open building slot. We're re-rolling unless it's a specific thing. It's not the specific thing, so we're doing the re-roll. Next. Rebuild slots. Could do well. That's the base 8 food pretty much on the well, because this place is basically making no food. Could do the market. Not that desperate to grab a culture building. Yeah, I'll grab the well. We probably won't upgrade that well, but well, if you get a bunch of other food buildings, is decent. We're out of trade range for this gold, so we're going to pass. Training ground's decent. We've only got 1 building slot left. There's a couple decent 0 slots we could pick up. In fact, we can pick up the -1 slot. We can pick up the line expansion here, if we're patient. So we'll build the quant while we're waiting. Try and get something better. We're looking for armor. We haven't hit armor. I'm gonna build a bunch of food here at some point, so the quant's not a bad idea. Next. One open building slot. Probably don't need that much on infrastructure. Is this a place we train archers? No, medium cav. Yeah. Yeah, let's market. It's an okay market. Get us access to more commerce buildings. We definitely don't need that much infrastructure. 300. Ooh. We need 33. Make me more food, please. $151. So we've got 62 we can pull off here. This will be fine. Okay. Yep, market finished, and you get all those guys on food, so they'll help grow people quicker. Open building slot, probably going to be the same as sort of the last zone, where we're going to take a bunch of people off. Tier 2 culture, Tier 2 commerce. I think it's culture here we want. And take like 40 off, 40-ish off, and have no problem. Okay. Next, one and a different one. House. Probably do want to still work up the land expansion, so brickworks isn't bad. And then we don't need that much infrastructure again for like one person or one thing being built. Although that's probably about right. Food. And on to the next place. 2 and 1. We don't really benefit from the tannery here. Although I maybe don't need the construction that's provided by the builder hole either. We'll do that anyway. Bronze works. Moves the tin around, but we're not really benefiting the tin being moved around. Don't need the loyalty from Gladiator School. Build the quant. Which is actually taking multiple turns. Though that might be more to do with the fact we got lots of people, lots of things being built here. Like the wrong state. Here's the right state. Or the wrong region. Move you guys back to food. So we need to save some on structure. That many. Next. Open building slot. We're working to get rid of this, which means builder guild, which means I need infrastructure buildings. On the other hand, Receptor House is just so good. In the grand scheme of things. Because they move around the papyrus, which is from our own country, generating more money. They lower decadence. Well, this is a bunch of people we need to convert, so temple it is. We do have wood up here, so we're not going to take wood cutting. Could grab the armor, move the leather around a little bit. Well, the alternative right is I can pick up the clothing manufacturer, which actually tells us we have leather in the area, so that's silk and leather. So it's 31 money. Tempting. Tempting. What do we train provincially wise in here? It's cavalry. Okay. Sold myself on clothing. If it was a troop that I would be thinking of building a lot more of, I would have gone with the armory. Okay, move bunch of that infrastructure over to food. Similar thing here. Next, that looks fine. I see it, Lydia. So if it does need to be a tier 3 road, it probably does make sense to grab a wax workshop, get us access to tier 3 commerce, and then we can upgrade the road. Probably overbuilding, but that's fine. That looks fine. Fine. Open building slot there. We'll grab the regional. Grab the wheelmaker so we can get a regional road there at some point. Three, 5. I'm probably at the point where we can make enough food here to get it food positive. Or at least food stable. Yeah. Not the best place in the world, but at least in theory there's now enough food going around to feed everyone. You're arguably looking for the archery range. We didn't hit the archery range. We'll do a reroll because as tempting as it would be quant, we don't have the industry to support such expensive buildings. Unbroken range. Builders Guild removes that as well. Start building that way. Brickworks. Although we're having food problems. Yeah, the brickworks. Just checking to see if we had smokehouse or smart halls. Curing house or the smokehouse to build. Roads is fine, that's fine. That region's just seeing a bad day. In fact, that region seeing such a bad day, I wouldn't necessarily be too tempted to give that away. Okay, plot there. The wells. Yes, please. And in done a turn. Cool. Okay. Next. The raiders doing raiding things. We'll just put everyone on food. I don't think I'm even going to keep this area for the smokehousing, so I guess we can. Yeah, no more idols. Armies are doing their thing. And let's cycle the turn. And then looking at the time, we'll probably put the part break after this end turn. One Egyptian unit tried to stop our army. Obviously, that's not going to stop us. Us versus the garrison, not a problem. Us, the mountain specialist in the mountain up against other guys in the mountain. Yeah, not a problem. Us versus the original garrison, which isn't a problem. I guess the weather changed, so we weren't able to do 3. So predict 3. Though the predictions can be wrong, as we see. Slaves and freemen laws. Let's improve slave rights. Trade acumen or range. I can spend money. We're a little poorer than I'd like to be usually. And trade acumen's just temporary. So this really comes down to, do I think I can convince the neighbors to buy my stuff? We don't need to, so we're gonna pass on that. I would be willing to pay for something like that if it was like permanent. We're not being presented with a permanent choice there. And we did get a prospect for resources. Is there any resources I actually want to prospect to fix? The opposite of what I wanted. No problem with modify there. You can't make me remove to the prospect resources, right? No, you're just Builder Guild. There was one there that could be removed. We've already had the thing set up to remove it passively. Same there. Actually, that one might not have been removal of the prospect from resources, but and we had the thing set up. Broken Ridge. Yeah, that would help that region. Sure. Well, we'll do that. Okay, before I get too distracted and continue to record, if you're watching on YouTube, there will be a part up tomorrow. We're going to continue the war against Egypt. I think we're still moving the direction we want to, which is pick that up. Yeah, we're like -9. Granted, we want some territories to go with this, right? So -9 plus some stuff is going to be a little bit more negative than that. We're getting close. We're getting close to where we can negotiate a peace. That I think will be satisfactory to me. In which case, we'll be a lot closer to the Egyptians. Only looking at taking 1,600 off of them, which is going to close the gap. It's not going to delete the gap. But we'll be like 500 of their 600 something. So a lot closer. But yeah, that's where we're going to put the part break in for YouTube. If you're watching on Twitch, feel free to hang around. I'm going to take a short break to sip a little bit of tea. I mean, go make a new cup of tea. My cup's empty. I'm going to take a tea break to get another cup of tea, and then we'll be right back to recording. So until the next part, wish you all the best of luck and a good time. Catch you all in the next part, and bye for now.